They called it the Old Arnold Estate, but it had another name, the place where evil breathes. My name is Andrea Perron. When I was 12, my parents bought an old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. 10 rooms, 200 acres, a dream for a big family like ours. But we didn't know the history. We didn't know the land was cursed, and we definitely didn't know about Bathsheba. Our first night in the house, I woke to the sound of a girl crying, not my sister's. This voice was older, sad, hollow. I followed it down the stairs, to the parlor, where no one was. The fireplace flickered, and in the reflection of the glass, I saw a woman hanging from the tree outside. When I turned around, nothing was there. Every night, something happened. Doors slammed. We'd hear 3 knocks at the walls, always at 3:07 a.m. My sister Cindy would wake up screaming, "There are 7 dead soldiers in my closet." We thought she was dreaming, until my dad opened the wall years later. There were old military artifacts sealed inside, rusty buttons, a musket ball, and something written in blood. Death is not the end. My mom began to change. She'd go ice cold in the middle of summer, speak in languages she didn't know. One day, she collapsed during dinner, and when she came to, she whispered, "She's standing behind you." We later learned from a local historian, a woman named Bathsheba Sherman had lived there in the 1800s. She was rumored to be a devil worshiper. It said she killed her infant as a sacrifice and cursed the land before hanging herself in the barn. No priest would go near the house. They said it was beyond salvation. We reached out to paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Lorraine said the house had a dark presence tied to Bathsheba. She warned us, "This entity is feeding off your mother's energy." During the seance, my mother was thrown across the room. She levitated and screamed in a voice that wasn't hers. It said, "This house is mine. Leave, and you'll leave in pieces." We didn't have money to move, but we learned to survive. We stopped acknowledging the spirits, stopped reacting. Some nights, we'd sleep in the same room, clutching crosses, singing hymns into the dark. Eventually, the activity slowed, but it never stopped. We lived there for 10 years. Bathsheba never left. To this day, I won't walk near that tree behind the house, and my mother, she still refuses to speak of what she saw during those blackouts. All she ever said was, "Bathsheba didn't just haunt the house, she entered me." Some stories get turned into movies, but the real terror is what they leave out. There's a house in Amityville, New York. From the outside, it's ordinary, but inside, it remembers. My name is George Lutz, and I have to tell you the truth, not the Hollywood version, but what really happened in that house. It started when Kathy and I bought the colonial-style home at 112 Ocean Avenue. 5 bedrooms, a boathouse, a steal for $80,000. We thought it was our dream home, but we didn't know the truth. Just over a year before, a man named Ronald DeFeo Jr. had murdered his entire family, 2 parents and 4 siblings, while they slept. Same beds, same rooms, same house. On our first night, the house was freezing, despite the furnace being on. I saw a black shadow crawl across the hallway. Kathy thought it was just the lighting, but then the front door blew open at 3:15 a.m., violently, like someone was trying to escape, not enter. That time, 3:15 a.m., kept returning. It was the time Ronald DeFeo claimed the voices told him to kill his family. I began waking up at 3:15 every night, sometimes to noises, other times to whispers. Kathy's cross turned upside down above our bed. My daughter Missy started talking to an imaginary friend she called Jody. "Jody's a pig," she said. "She says I can stay here forever." I thought it was just kid stuff until I saw two glowing red eyes staring at me through the window. At second glance, nothing. The next morning, cloven hoofprints in the snow outside her room. No animal tracks leading to or from them. One night, I came home and heard chanting in the basement. Not English, not Latin, something older. The walls began bleeding a thick black sludge from the baseboards. It smelled like rotting flesh. My dog refused to go downstairs. My wife started levitating in her sleep. And me? I began feeling like I didn't belong to myself anymore. I became violent, paranoid, possessive. Then we discovered the Red Room. It wasn't in the blueprints. A small, hidden chamber behind the basement wall, no bigger than a closet, painted entirely blood red. We found flies alive in the winter, stuck to the walls in swarms. Missy said, "That's where Jody sleeps." We sealed it, but the energy only grew worse. On the 28th night, we fled. We didn't pack, didn't say goodbye. We left everything behind. The moment we stepped outside, the air lifted. It felt like something inside the house screamed. We never returned to 112 Ocean Avenue. We lost money. We were called frauds. People said we made it up. But I know what I saw, what I felt, and what I barely escaped becoming. Some houses, they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay forever. It was never about the murders. It was about the house and the evil that still lives there. They said it was once a medieval prison. But no one warned me that some souls locked inside never left. I was desperate. A single mom, recently divorced, trying to start fresh. When I found the house in St. Osyth, Essex, it seemed perfect. Quaint, affordable, even had a name. The Cage. The real estate agent mentioned casually that it used to be a prison for witches. I laughed. Oh, like Halloween witches? She didn't smile. No, real ones. And they died here. But I didn't care. I needed a home. So I moved in with my 5-year-old son, Jake. First night, the lights flickered. The dog refused to enter the kitchen. And I could swear I heard someone whisper my name from the hallway. But I told myself it was stress. That changed when Jake came running into my room one night. "Mummy, the lady in black says, you're not supposed to be here." I started documenting everything. Things moved. Doors opened on their own. I'd find muddy footprints on the ceiling. One night, I saw her. A woman dressed in rags, standing in the corner of my room. Eyes hollow. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. I blinked. She was gone. I brought in a local historian. What she told me chilled my blood. In the 1500s, a cage held Ursula Kemp, accused of witchcraft. They tortured her, starved her. She died in that house. Locals believe her spirit still watches, still punishes. Jake changed. He stopped talking, would sit in the corner, rocking, whispering things like, "She lives in the walls. She wants your eyes. She's under the floor now." I found deep scratches in the hardwood, like fingernails. Then one night, I woke up at 3 a.m. Jake was gone. I found him in the kitchen, standing perfectly still, staring into the darkness. "She says I belong here now." I fled. A priest agreed to bless the house. During the blessing, the windows shattered. Blood appeared, seeped through the walls. He refused to ever come back. I moved out. The house sat vacant for years. But recently, someone else bought it. A couple. They lasted 3 nights. If you ever visit St. Osiph, don't stop at the quaint little cottage on Cage Lane. The house doesn't want visitors. It wants prisoners. Some houses want to be left alone, but this one wants to be remembered through blood. My name is Clara, and I never believed in the supernatural until 1973, when my family moved into the Hinsdale house, nestled deep in the woods of upstate New York. A white farmhouse, peaceful, quiet, too quiet. The air felt heavy, as if the house was breathing. My younger brother Danny would talk to the empty corners of the room. "There's a man in the hallway," he'd whisper. "He doesn't like Daddy." At first, we laughed it off. Kids and their imaginations. But then came the chanting, low, deep voices from the woods outside. We'd lock the doors, but the voices would get louder. Closer. One night, we heard a guttural scream from the tree line. The next morning, all our livestock were dead, no wounds. Just lifeless. My mother changed. She'd wander the house at night, murmuring in a voice that wasn't hers. She carved symbols into the walls with her fingernails, and sometimes she'd look at me and ask, "Who are you? Where's my real daughter?" We tried to leave. Our car wouldn't start, the phones were dead. Every road out of town led us right back to the house. We brought in a priest. What he uncovered was horrifying. The land had been cursed. There were reports of ritualistic killings in the 1800s. A man was hanged from a tree behind the house. His wife, accused of witchcraft, took her life in the attic. She was never buried. The priest attempted an exorcism. Midway through, he collapsed, bleeding from the eyes. He screamed, "It doesn't want cleansing. It wants company." We were warned to burn the house down, but the land itself was cursed. My father found Danny in the basement one night, digging. When asked why, Danny replied, "The lady in white told me to find her bones." That was our last night. We ran. We didn't pack. We didn't look back. Years later, I revisited the house as part of a documentary. The new owner welcomed me, but his smile was off. When I asked how things had been, he simply whispered, "She still asks about you. Clara, the house remembers you." Some homes wait in silence. Others call you back.